Hi, this is Ambi from Board Game Blitz, and today I'm going to talk about my highlights from the month of April. First, I'm going to go over my acquisitions of the month. I got a Kickstarter in Ministry of Lost Things, a Puzzle Tales series. So this is from Post Curious, which I've talked about their games before. I've gotten some review copies, but this one I backed on Kickstarter. It's another puzzle game, and I got stickers, and I got a bonus puzzle, which I've already done. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I haven't done it yet. It's like about, there's forgotten treasures, like when you misplace things, and then I guess there's a puzzle with those like lost socks and stuff. A Ministry of Lost Things. So that's a puzzle game. I also got a copy of Flip 7. They were giving away these for free, so I signed up and got a copy. It's a card game. And then I got a review copy of Sherlock, The Game is Afoot. I just got this review copy, so I haven't played it yet, but this is a competitive deduction game for 2 to 5 players. And so I like deduction games, so I've been excited about this one. I'm excited to play it, so I will talk about that on the podcast when I do play it. Alright, now for April stats. I log my plays using the app BG Stats, and it links to BoardGameGeek.com. In April, I had 42 plays of 16 different games, 5 of which were new to me. I guess 11 hours of playtime. 3 of the new games were review copies, Top Tier, Signal, and Here Lies. I've talked about Top Tier and Signal on the podcast already, and Here Lies will be in an upcoming podcast. But Top Tier is a cooperative party game where you're ranking things, like tier listing. And Signal and Here Lies are both from the creators of Rosetta, the Lost Language, which I enjoy. It's a cooperative deduction, language communication game, kind of. But Signal and Here Lies are both spiritual successors. So I enjoyed these. Signal, I played twice, once at 5 players and once at 2 players. And I talked about this on the podcast, so I'm just going to briefly go over it. But it's a game where you're doing cooperative induction. It's kind of like a cooperative version of Zendo, but it has missions. So one person is the alien and they know the rules that they can do, and they're trying to create a signal, and the other people are experts and they're putting pieces out on the board and seeing what the alien does. So the alien has certain moves that they have to do, like move all the black cubes or something. And so they're trying to get to this pattern that everyone knows what pattern they're trying to get to, but the experts don't know what moves the alien can do. And so as the time goes on, you can kind of see what the alien does and see okay, so they're always doing this, so maybe the rule is they have to move something. So then the experts are setting it up so that the alien can get the signal. And then there's 3 rounds, and each round has new moves that add on to the existing rules. So I thought that was neat. I think it would be best at 3 players or 4 players maybe. 6 was too many, and 2 didn't have any discussion among experts because it was just one person. But it is kind of weird having the alien doing the things and the experts don't actually have to figure it out because they can kind of get lucky to get the pattern that they need. So that part I didn't like as much. So I think Zendo is still pure induction if you want that. But Signal was interesting. And then Here Lies, I played once so far. It is a campaign-ish game with missions, but it's a cooperative deduction game, kind of. This one feels more similar to Rosetta, the Lost Language, but a more structured version of that. So in this one person is reading a case and everyone else is trying to guess the details of the case, which are just underlined words. So the theme is murder mystery type stuff, but the case has a little blurb and then it has underlined words in different categories, like weapon or cause or something else. And so if the weapon is revolver or something, the people are trying to guess that weapon and then that cause. And you have so many rounds depending on the case, and the way you're giving clues is first there's key evidence that is case dependent as well, that the person gets to pick one of the things to write down, and there's dry erase stuff everywhere. And then the players have cards in their hand that have different powers. So they'll play a card and it costs so much time, you have time tokens, and the card will say something write all the consonants of one of the letters that you're trying to guess, or write the last 3 letters, or draw a picture of something that relates to the thing that you're trying to guess. So then the person who knows the answers is trying to clue the other people into the answer. We played the first case, which is a tutorial case, and they got it pretty quickly. I was the person giving the clues, and they ended up using letter things and guessing based on the words, not on the drawings as much. I do want to try it again. It did kind of have a similar feeling to Rosetta, the Lost Language, but more structured. And I think I like the more open-ended part of Rosetta better, for giving clues and asking for clues and stuff. But this helps have a focus, having the cards that you play instead of, if you're not as creative with asking for questions or giving clues and stuff, having cards and set things instead of making up your own clue that they're trying to figure out, having the underlying words that they're trying to figure out can help with that. And then it is kind of a campaign. We just played the tutorial, so we didn't see that much of it, but I think later missions get harder, and there's also like ally cards that you could unlock that help with things. But some people in my group, it's not their type of game, so I'm hoping to play it again with, maybe I'll just play it 2-player or like with other people. Oh, another highlight was on my birthday, I got to play Bomb Busters with Toby. So this was my first time playing this 2 players. I've talked about Bomb Busters a lot, but we played 2 players and we played a special print and play Valentine's scenario that's available on their site for free. So this was my first time playing with less than 4 players. With less than 4 players, some people can get 2 trays instead of just 1 tray. And so usually each person only has 1 tray. And in the game, it's kind of like cooperative Go Fish. You're asking other people for numbers that match. But if you have like all the matching numbers, then you can just solo cut the wires. You're trying to cut the wires that aren't red. So that doesn't happen very often, solo cutting in a 4-player game, since everyone has different trays and it's split up. But like with 2 players, we found that happened a lot more often. Like I would have all of the numbers, all of the 1s and all of the 4s or something. And so that felt a little more boring. Although the lives also scale, so there's only 2 lives at 2 players. There's 4 lives at 4 players. So we lost quicker, but it also felt like the turns weren't as exciting because we would have a lot more solo cuts. So I think I prefer Bomb Busters at 4 or 5 players. But with the Valentine's special scenario, it did mitigate the 2-player thing with it added rules where you have a heart token and each person has a heart token and they have to move it to one of their trays. And so the other person, if they're doing a cut action, they have to point to that tray. So you can't do the one that the heart token isn't on. Also, they had 4 yellow wires that were split up between the 4 trays. So like you can't just solo cut the yellow wires. So it made it so not everything can be solo cut. So that's good. And then the hearts made it kind of hard because we played 3 games. We got it after 3 games. The first 2 we lost because we were just not thinking about the same things. Like I would move the heart token here because I'm thinking I want him to get these numbers, but then he would be thinking of a different number. And so it took us a while to get on the same wavelength with that. But it was fun. All right, my last highlight of the month is Monikers, which is not a new to me game, but all of these plays were with my kids. So Monikers is not a family-friendly game. It is, if you've played Time's Up or Fishbowl or Celebrities, that's the public domain names. But Monikers is a party game. It has 3 rounds, team party game. In the first round, people are saying anything to get people to guess. And you have like a deck of 40 cards that have words or phrases. So you can say anything. The second round, you're using that same deck. So you know all of the words and you're trying to remember what you'd had, and then you only give 1 word as a clue. And then the third round, you give no words, you're just acting it out. And in Monikers, the words and phrases are like, a lot of them are internet memes and stuff, and they're not all family friendly, and sometimes there's blurbs on, like descriptions on the cards that tell you what they are if you don't know them, because you probably won't know them. And sometimes those aren't family friendly. But my kid like wanted to play because he saw the box and he thought the box was cool. And my kids can't read, so they couldn't like do the clues. They can't read the cards. But I said, okay, maybe I can look through the deck and like find cards that you would know. So I found the ones that they would know and then had them guess. And so I just gave all the clues and did 3 rounds with like a smaller deck of 10 or 15 cards. And they loved it. And so like now they're saying Monikers is their favorite game. And I have a little deck of like 60 cards out of the, I don't know how many cards are in the actual deck, like 500, I don't know. But those ones, I looked through all of them and found some that are appropriate for them. And we also started making some of our own because my kids wanted to act out. And so I made some cards that they drew a picture on it and I wrote what they're saying. And so like then they can look at it and they'll know and they can play as well. So yeah, that's been fun. I think I'm going to make a video about like playing Monikers with kids. That's not something that I would have picked to play with them, but yeah, my kids kept asking to play it, and so finally I was like, okay, yeah, well, let's try it. So that's been fun. All right, that's it for my highlights from April. If you have any questions about other games I played, let me know in the comments, and let me know what your favorite games in April were. Thanks to all of our Ko-fi supporters over here, and thanks for watching Board Game Blitz. Bye!